An episode of This One Time in Kankakee from the WVLI Podcast Network will start right after this. Listen to all of today's local news in one place.
Checking your WVLI news, I'm Rob West.
The WVLI News Update brings you the day's news in 10 minutes or less. Clear, credible, and on your schedule. Follow now wherever you get your podcasts or at WVLI927.com and click on air. It's all part of the new WVLI Podcast Network. The voices you trust beyond the dial.
This one time in Kankakee, my son Mads Pomranky was diagnosed with a rare form of leukemia.
Welcome to This One Time in Kankakee from the WVLI Podcast Network. I'm Jake LaMore. Every story we tell on this podcast starts with a single moment, a moment that's woven into the fabric of our community. But sometimes that moment is a single thread that, when pulled, unravels everything. Today, we're hearing from Jen Pomranky. She and her husband Derek built their life here, moving to Bourbonnais from another part of the Midwest.
My name is Jen Pomranky. I am originally from South Dakota, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I live here now in Bourbonnais with my husband, Derek Pomranky, he was originally from Sioux City-ish, Iowa. We moved here about 12 years ago. My husband works for Nucor Steel, so that's why we moved here, and we just started our little life here. We had Mads Pomranky May 16th, 2019 at Riverside Hospital. He's our first boy, son. He is such a cool little kid.
Their little life was happy. It was normal. And then when Mads was just 5 months old, that single thread appeared.
When he was 5 months old, he was had like goopy eyes, congestion. I was like, okay, he goes to daycare a couple days a week. So kids get sick. It's October, the flu's coming around. So I took him into his pediatrician, who at the time was Dr. Batista. She was our pediatrician for Mads.
Jen took Mads to Riverside for what she thought was a routine sick kid visit. But Dr. Batista, during a thorough exam, felt something wasn't right.
She noticed that his spleen or kidney was enlarged, so she prompted to get blood work done, an ultrasound of his abdomen, just to see what was happening. We did all those things. Then on November 5th of 2019, she called us one evening and said, hey, we just need you to come into the ER to get his blood work redone. So we did. And I'm thinking, oh, things happen all the time, right? Like nothing crazy. So we went, got his blood work repeated, and it showed that his white blood cells were through the roof. His red blood cells were very low, where he would need a blood transfusion. She didn't know exactly what the diagnosis was, but she had a suspicion that it was some type of leukemia or some type of cancer.
In that single moment, in a Kankakee ER, the Pomranky's world split into a before and an after. And Jen says Dr. Batista didn't just deliver the news, she took action.
She was in contact with Comer Children's Hospital at University of Chicago. She got a room ready for us. She had transportation set up for us. She was amazing. She sent us up there. They called the on-call doctor because it was probably about like 10 o'clock, maybe even closer to midnight by the time we got up there, if I remember correctly. So we got up there. The on-call doctor said, hey, tomorrow we're going to do a bone marrow biopsy where they go in through the hip bone on the back, pull out the stem cells, send it to pathology, and then we'll figure out exactly what his diagnosis is. Then once we got the diagnosis of that rare form of leukemia, they told us that the only way for his survival cure rate is for a stem cell transplant.
Mads was 5 months old, and the only thing that could save him was a stem cell transplant from a stranger. But first, they had to fight the cancer that was already there. Mads began rounds of chemotherapy, but this wasn't a short-term battle. Jen and her husband found out about the leukemia in late 2019. The transplant wouldn't happen until June of 2020. And in that gap, Mads, just an infant, endured a medical battle that is hard to even comprehend. Jen kept a list.
So Mads' medical statistics, if you will, he had 6 rounds of chemo, which each round had multiple doses. So technically he had 83 doses of chemo. He received 31 blood transfusions, so if you donate blood, we thank you. Again, the platelet transfusions, he received 31 of those. He had 11 bone marrow biopsies. Then he also had 5 spinal taps with chemo. And then he did 2 skin biopsies because he had rashes from the treatment, just making sure that he didn't get leukemia of the skin, which can happen. He was diagnosed at 5 months, and then he was only a year and a month when he received that transplant.
An entire lifetime of medical procedures, all before he could walk. And just as they were preparing for the final life-saving transplant, the world stopped.
China has identified the cause of the mysterious new virus,
coronavirus.
The first U.S. case has been detected.
I have today declared that the coronavirus presents a public health emergency in the United States.
More than 3 billion people in almost 70 countries and territories have been asked to stay at home.
Then it came to when they were like, okay, we're going to do stem cell transplant. We already have a donor lined up, everything like that. Perfect. Then the pandemic happened, right?
The donor, a stranger they knew nothing about, was scheduled for a surgical procedure to donate her bone marrow.
She had that scheduled, and then the government, everybody shut everything down, so they canceled her surgery. So she was freaking out because, she was wondering what was going on.
Just imagine that. The one person on Earth who is your son's perfect match has surgery canceled by a global pandemic.
So then she ended up having to do stem cells, which same-day procedure. They hook you up to a machine, both arms, spin out your stem cells, and then they put the blood back in.
While the donor was navigating this new procedure, Jen and Derek were at home with a severely immunocompromised child, just trying to survive the wait.
Yeah, it was definitely terrifying. So we were home in March of 2020, but we had to be very careful with everything. So when thankfully we did grocery pickups, but I would wipe everything down. His water had to be an individual bottle because if you opened it, you exposed it. So we would have to do that. And that was when there was like a water shortage. So I remember my husband was going out and I was like on Facebook, does anybody know where we can get just bottles of water? I'm like, I don't care what size, we just need smaller ones or whatever. Thankfully, we had 1 million people like, here's some I just saw, so that was amazing. The community did help us with that.
Finally, the day came. The stem cells arrived from the donor. But to receive them, doctors first had to take Mads to 0.
He did another round of chemo to completely knock his whole system out. So everything was at 0. They basically had to kill everything to make sure there was no cancer hiding anywhere in his body. Then it was the go to get the stem cells. So once we did that, they just hung it up. It probably took about an hour total for the stem cells to go in. We had their chaplain say a little prayer over it just to give us all the good vibes and good prayers and everything. And we waited, and then it was just the waiting game for everything to climb back up and make sure that the stem cells were finding their home in his body.
The family spent the next 4 months living in Chicago, in and out of the hospital and at the Ronald McDonald House, watching and waiting.
Then we got to come back home. So we were up in Chicago that whole time. So we didn't get to come home until October when they finally said everything looks great.
And with Mad's health growing, so did the family's curiosity. Who was this person? This stranger who had gone through with her donation in the middle of a pandemic? For the first year, all contact is anonymous. Then they could exchange information, if both sides agreed.
Ironically enough, I received an email on the 1 year mark from his stem cell transplant of his donor, and she had filled out the paperwork. I immediately went to Facebook, typed her in, because I was like, okay, I need to know who this angel is. And I realized, I was like, oh, she's just like a young college girl. She was 19 years old when she donated.
Her name is Caitlin. She's from Cincinnati, Ohio. And the story of how she got on the registry is its own one-time moment.
DKMS, one of the bone marrow registries, that's who she signed up with. They always try to go to colleges to get donors on the list. She just stopped in between classes. I mean, just a freak thing, right? She was just trying to get to class, whatever. She stopped. She's like, oh, yeah, sure. Okay, whatever. I'll do it. It's just a quick swab of your cheeks. So she did that. She said she did that in August, I think. Then she got a phone call in mid-November saying, you have been matched.
Jen sent Caitlin an email that same day, carefully, respectfully.
And then I said, and if you would like, I would love to send you pictures, but only when you're ready. Because I just wanted to respect, I'm like, it's probably a lot. So she emailed me back right away, and she's like, I would love to see pictures. And then ever since then, we've just been in contact.
That tentative, grateful email has grown into a real extended family.
It's so weird because the only way I can explain it is like we don't know them, but it's like we've known them forever. Like, you know how you sometimes just have that with people that you're like, I can't imagine our lives without you, and here you are, and I feel like we've known you forever even though we just met. It was just like immediate click. It was crazy. It's so fun. Her mom, she travels a lot for work, so she'll be up in Schaumburg, and so she'll come and stay with us on her way through, and my husband's actually going to go down there this weekend to go to the Bears-Cincinnati or Bengals game. So he's going down there to hang out with them and go tailgating and all the fun things. So I'm like, it's like we've known them forever.
But the journey wasn't over. Mads had spent his entire infancy in a hospital. He was severely delayed.
He didn't walk until he was literally almost 2 years old. So once he was kind of done with his treatment, he was okay. This was October. They signed us up with early intervention, which is a big thing for kids from birth to 3 years old that need just developmental services. So we had a great team that was helping him. He was receiving speech. He was receiving occupational therapy, physical therapy, developmental therapy, and then nutrition. He was severely delayed in all of those aspects. It was a long journey, but now he talks nonstop, and the words he uses are like long, and you would have no clue that he ever could not speak for a long time.
And today, Mads Pomranky is 6 years old.
He's running, he's jumping, he's in karate. I mean, he's just like this active little crazy kid that you would expect to see any 6-year-old. He loves to draw. That is like his main obsession right now, which like I love that because I'm an art major. That's what I went to school for. He loves to know how things work. He's very inquisitive. He talks to everybody. He's so just like himself. But there's things that I'm like, I see my husband and myself in some of his traits that I'm like, oh, okay, there it is. But
I know where you got that from.
No, not me. No.
He's a typical kid, with one exception.
He knows that he had cancer, so he will go up to random strangers and be like, I had cancer. And they're like, oh. And they look at me kind of like, really? And I'm like, yeah, you did, you know. And then he has a little scar from his central line, and he likes to show everybody that because that's his little battle wound, and he thinks it's pretty cool.
And this past June, Mads hit a milestone that was once just a desperate hope.
He did reach 5 years in this past June, which now he's considered cured. So After a stem cell transplant, once you reach that 5-year mark, you're considered cured.
Cured. A word that started as a suspicion in a Kankakee hospital, was forged through 83 doses of chemo and was made possible by a 19-year-old college student who stopped between classes. We ended our conversation by asking Jen what advice she had for any parent who finds themselves at the beginning of a similar journey.
Don't be afraid to ask for help. If you don't feel like something is right, speak up. You're your child's advocate. Ask a million questions. Ask them again. Write everything down. Do not be afraid to stick up for your child, because you know what's best at the end of the day for your child.
And she has one more request. For the organization that found Caitlin, if you can, register to be a bone marrow or stem cell donor at dkms.org.
It's simple. You just swab both sides of your cheeks. You send it back in. And then, maybe you could save a life and you don't have to die in the process. I'm on the registry. Sadly, I haven't received a phone call. I would love to. But, I would say yes in a heartbeat, because it's just, how could you, if I could save somebody, why not? And that's the story of Mads Pomranky and his incredible journey from a diagnosis at Riverside to being cured. Our thanks to Jennifer Pomranky for sharing her family's story with us. It just goes to show the profound power of a parent's advocacy and the life-changing kindness of a stranger. As Jennifer mentioned, you can join the National Marrow Registry by visiting dkms.org. A simple cheek swab could, quite literally, save a life. Now, we want to hear your story. What's a moment that happened right here in Kankakee County that you'll never forget? Send an email to jake@milnermediapartners.com or message me on social media and finish this sentence for me. This one time in Kankakee,